Hey everybody, welcome back. Another review of Married at First Sight. This is gonna be season 14, episode 5. As always, it's your boy Big James, the Big Eye himself. And I like this episode. It was a really good episode. It was a very, very good episode. Uh Lots of stuff happening. Very interesting. I'm gonna go couple by couple, not scene by scene. I just find it easier for me. So let's just get right into it. The first couple I'm gonna start with is Mark and Lindsay. First thing they do that's of any note was the pina coladas. Well, no, the first thing they did was they were talking, and Mark was like he doesn't want any repeats. No, it was pina coladas. That's right, pina coladas. Lindsay wanted to go get pina coladas in the morning, and Mark was like, "Hey, that's cool, but let's not have a repeat of what happened, the day before." And Lindsay was like, "Oh, I had a few drinks," and Mark said, "You had, excuse me, you had 3 bottles of wine." I was like, "There's no way." She drunk 3 bottles of wine. Must have been them. It had to be those little bottles of wine. There's no way. Or she did it before they got to the airport. There's no way she drunk 3 full bottles of wine on a plane. There's no way she was that fucked up and they let her on the plane. She might have. She seemed like she drinks a lot, so she was pretty toasty on the plane. And he's giving hints that he's not cool with that. He doesn't like it, and he can't put up with that. It seems like he likes to drink, but not nearly as much as Lindsay likes to drink. But they go and they get the pina coladas. They have the bartender make them for them. And then she said, "Well, we're going to teach you how to make one." Because Mark said he's never had a pina colada before. And Lindsay looked like she's had plenty. So Mark gets up there. He puts on his sunglasses. He's doing the damn cocktail, Tom Cruise thing with the making the drink. And apparently it's really good. Lindsay said it was better than the one the bartender made. Mark says, "Yeah, mine was better than hers." But I don't think maybe he didn't use as much alcohol or whatever. Because I don't think Mark is really. He doesn't seem like he's that cool with getting wasted all the time like Lindsay is. Later on, all of the couples go on a boat ride. I don't know why they have so many couples activities. And Lindsay and Mark. Now Lindsay is with the other wives, and she's talking about like she just wants to apologize for what happened before, and she just got triggered about what happened with Elijah, and Katina was fucking pissed because Katina was like, didn't nobody trigger you? She was like, "I'm sorry for whatever happened to you when you were young or whatever, but you triggered yourself. You started that shit." Because Lindsay was talking like she was the victim, like they did her wrong, and Katina was like, "Let me straighten you out. You fucked with us. So anything that happened to you as a result of you fucking with us is on you. You triggered yourself," which is true. Lindsay is basically saying like, "Oh, this was done to me, and nobody did anything to you. You did this shit to you. Own up to it. Realize that." And Lindsay and continue to get on her about her drinking so much. Like, you shouldn't do that. It's like you need to handle your goddamn liquor. Katina just wasn't having none of it. And Jasmina, Katina walked away. Jasmina was like, "You was fucked up, Lindsay, and you're not handling this right." I can't remember exactly what she said, but Jasmina told Lindsay like, "This is all your fault. Even because whatever you were saying about how you were triggered and all that, nothing would have happened if you hadn't did what you did." So everybody's just trying to calm Katina down and get Lindsay to open her eyes. Because Lindsay, she's like, "I was just minding my business." And you were not. You was fucking with everybody. And you was drunk off your ass. Uh, the producers asked Lindsay, has her and Mark had sex? And she's like, "Oh, she doesn't want to talk about it. It's goofy, it's silly. Girl, a lady never kisses and tells," is what she said at this point. She didn't say it later. So later on, Mark plans a romantic dinner for him and Lindsay. Now, during the dinner, Mark fucked this up. He said he wants to, slow down, take things slow, He doesn't want to get too ahead or too excited. Lindsay is telling everybody that, she loves Mark. Like, oh, she's falling in love with him and all this other stuff. And Mark's like, he wants to slow down. He doesn't want to get too far ahead. And Lindsay just gets pissed. Like, oh, you want to slow down? I'm going to slow it all the way the fuck down. Because how you going to sit here and tell me you want to slow down and you're going to have to stop all that farting in front of me, taking a shit with the door open, clogging up the toilets? Because apparently, Mark and Lindsay married for 3 days. He known one for 3 days. He done got real comfortable. He doing shit people that have been together for a while doing. She's like, he's shitting with the door open. He's farting everywhere. He's sitting around naked. Lindsay be like, how are you going to say this to me after we done consummated marriage several times? She's like, they done had sex 3 times. And I guess it wasn't that great. So, and that's fucked up on Lindsay. Because this man saying he wants to just slow down. He doesn't want to take things too far. Yeah, it's not the right thing to say at a romantic dinner. But he didn't take any personal shots at you. She was taking personal shots at him. And he was completely flustered. But he did fuck up though. Because he didn't mean what he was trying to say was, I don't want you drinking all the time and starting shit with people all the time. Because she was still doing that. She was still getting into it with other people. On the boat ride, on the trip with the other wives, she was still doing a lot of drinking and doing a lot of shit talking. And Mark, that's what he doesn't want her to do. He wants her to take that, ease up on all of that. But Lindsay was taking it like he doesn't want things to move as fast as they are. I don't think he has any problem with the relationship moving as fast as it was. He has a problem with her doing stuff to keep antagonizing and drawing in other people. He didn't say that, and he should have said that. He should have explained it better instead of saying he wants to slow down, because they're doing everything else fast. Their relationship is moving fast. Lindsay is doing a lot. He doesn't want her to do a lot. I hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, it seemed like at the end, Lindsay was pissed, but she wasn't that pissed. She was like, it was just like, this was a fuck up, dude. You made a mistake. And he did make a mistake. That wasn't the right setting for that talk. He made it seem like it was going to be romantic and sweet and wonderful, and it wasn't that at all. So I'm going to see how these go, but they seem like they can't make it. Let's move on to our next couple. Is going to be Steve and Noi. I'm trying to remember what happened with them because it's hard to remember because they don't do a lot. Steve and Noi are probably the most boring couple on the show. I know she talked to the producer. She told the producer that she felt like she could fall in love with Steve. And then when she was like, is that it? And they were like, yeah. So she was like, where is Steve? They were like, oh, he's over there. So she goes there. She's like, well. So she sits down next to Steve and she's telling him, like, I just told the producer that I feel like I could fall in love with you. And Steve was like, okay, yeah, that's a thing. And no, you can see the hurt on her face. Was like, he said, that's sweet. I think that's what he said. And that's not what she was expecting. But Steve was like, I don't know you. We've known each other for 3 days. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm falling. He said, I have strong feelings for you. And Steve threw all the other couples. He's like, you can ask any of the other couples. They probably don't feel that way. They're not in love with each other. They probably don't have strong feelings. I at least have strong feelings. But Steve was real. He was real on that shit. Like, no, I'm not falling in love with you. I don't even know you. And they said something. What else happened for them? Oh, his meetings. Because she was like, they were going to bed. And she was asked, like the day before. This is what they had first. The day before, she was asked, was he coming to bed? She said, you gave me the poop face. He was like, yeah, I told you I had to go to a meeting. And I guess the meeting was cold where I had to go take a shit. He was like, yeah, I had to get that meeting out before I went to bed. So he was like, I've been taking care of a lot of meetings lately. And then they were just laughing because it was like, I guess she didn't know. She thought he was going to actual meetings. And then she caught on that, oh, he was taking a shit. That was cute. But Steve seems like they were talking about activities they want to do. And Steve wants to go camping. And Noy was like, she don't want to go camping. No, Steve was all about that lifestyle, that I guess vagabond lifestyle, about going places, living, sleeping out under the woods, sleeping under the stars, doing all that. Noah was like, no. She was like, nope. She said, I'll go cabining. She said, you can sleep out there and I'll sleep in a cabin with electricity and water and toilets and food. She said, you can get a sleeping bag and sleep by the river if you want to. And Steve seemed like, he wasn't really cool with that because Steve seemed like he had that travel and going around and he moving thing, that's part of him. Like that's something he really likes doing. And I don't think Northern. This is the first hiccup I can see. I don't think Steve wants to settle down. I think he wants to get married, but he wants to keep moving. He wants to keep going from place to place, see new things, do new things, experience new things. And I don't think I think she wants to just take a root somewhere. Even her vacations, I think she wanted to be very not outdoorsy. Remember, Steve said he used to sleep in a car out by the river. And I think Noy is not going to be cool with that shit. When they're on a boat with the other couples, they do the Never Have I Ever. And Steve says, like, he's cheated before. And that kind of took Noy by surprise. So afterwards, Steve is talking to the other guys. And he tells the other guys what Noy said earlier about how she feels like she's falling in love with him. And Steve was like, fuck all that shit. Steve is very, very honest and real up front. He's not, cameras are not, other people are not, he was not putting on the front. Like, no, I'm not feeling any of this shit you're feeling. We just met. I have strong feelings for you as a person, but as far as like anything more than that, no. And that feeling isn't even really like. He just has a strong feeling towards her. That feeling isn't love. It's not even like. It's just like, you're sweet. He has a strong, you're sweet feeling. And the other guy was laughing. They were like, hey, you crazy. He was like, nah, man, fuck that. Shit. Later on, they're talking to each other, and she said she wants to talk to Steve about, him saying he cheated before. And Noy was like, well, I cheated before too. And Steve said, but you didn't say you had. She was like, no, I wasn't going to admit that I cheated in front of you. He was like, well, I did. She's like, yeah. But she said, well, now that it's just us, I guess, and millions of people watching, she said she felt fine admitting that, yeah, I have cheated before. And then he was like, what happened? She said, oh, I was 18. We were in high school. And so he was like, it was the same thing for me. I cheated when I was still a teenager. So now they're in their fucking 40s. They're like, it wasn't that big of a deal. It's not. If it wasn't a pattern or they wasn't cheating for every relationship, then no. If they just like, yeah, I cheated when I was younger. But I don't do it anymore. That's cool. Uh, I think that's it with them. Not a lot. Next couple is Michael and Jasmina. Michael and Jasmina are falling apart at the fucking seams. Michael and Jasmina. Michael, and I don't know who's to blame for it. Because I can see what Michael is doing, and I can also see what Jasmina is doing. Jasmina is doing what she's accusing Michael of. Michael's sister told her that he looks on the bad side of everything, and she's expecting him to look on the bad side of everything. So whenever anything happens, she automatically gets negative, thinking he's finna go negative. And then by her acting that way, he does go negative. I don't know why she's not trying to excuse me. I don't know why she's not trying to counter his negativity with positivity. She's going, I'm gonna go negative first. So Michael doesn't have any time to be a downer because Jasmine is already down. She should be uplifting, positive, so that he doesn't feel that way. But she got a different approach to it, and I don't think that's going to work. She's really just She's stuck on what his sister said. She's just stuck on it, and that ain't gonna work. Shit. Uh, what else did they do? I can't remember what they did. I really don't remember. They did go to the boat, and that's when Jasmina was talking to Lindsay, and Jasmina was Katina and Jasmina were saying the same thing to Lindsay, except Katina was far more ghetto, far more hood, and in your face, and fingers and neck rolling. And Jasmine was sitting there. She was very calm, very collected, very telling her like, "You triggered yourself. If you weren't drunk and you weren't bothering individuals and interfering in other people's lives, you wouldn't have gotten yelled at. What you got, you wouldn't have received. So you're sitting here saying that, oh, I felt triggered. You triggered you." So they were saying the same thing to Lindsay, but it sounded much more classic from Jasmine. Uh, and when they were on the boat playing Never Have I Ever, the question came up about would you do a threesome? And Michael was saying that no, he wouldn't do it. Respect for his wife, even if she wanted to do it, he would still be hesitant and wouldn't want to do it. Even if she broached the subject, he was like, I'm not really sure. And Jasmina would start talking, and Jasmina went in and started talking about how she basically felt the same way. Later on, Michael, he's saying he wants her to apologize for cutting him off on the boat when he was talking. She did not cut him off when they were talking. They showed the clip. Michael was talking, saying what he wanted to say, and then he stopped talking and looked at Jasmina, and then she started talking. And then when she stopped talking, he started talking again. It wasn't like, I mean, he full on stopped talking and looked at her direction, and she started talking. And while she was talking, he was going, yep, and nodding along with her. And then when she stopped talking, he started talking. But he was sitting there saying, like, I was talking and you interrupted me. And she was like, I did not interrupt you. And she did not, absolutely did not. I don't know if he just had a pause in his thoughts or what. It looked like he was done speaking. It literally looked like he was done speaking because there was a pause and a silence. And then she started talking. So, don't know what the fuck he's talking about. He was wrong as shit for that. But she was upset because she was like, he was being aggressive and confrontational. And she was like, no, that's not cool. He was like, I just want you to apologize when you do wrong. But she was like, I didn't do anything wrong. So she said, I'm sorry you feel that way. And Michael was like, that's not a real apology. She was like, well, I'm not going to give you a real apology because I didn't do anything wrong to apologize for. I'm just sorry you feel that way. She is 100% right on that. If you feel as though you have done wrong, apologize for what you've done. If you don't, just say, well, I'm sorry you feel like I did you wrong. She did not do anything to him. And he just figured, like, this is just what it's going to be. And she was like, yeah, fuck yeah. I'm not finna apologize to you for some shit I didn't do. And she was very upset. She was like, you can't do shit like this to me. And I'm pretty sure Michael's going to go back and look at this and realize he was completely fucked up. Now, what he's trying to do, from what it seemed like to me, is that Jasmina is someone you have to confront. You can't be passive with her because her mom said that. You can't be passive with her. She won't, if you show any weakness, she will eat you alive. So I think he's doing too much to show that he's a real man or whatever to make her happy. Because he was completely out of line and wrong right there. But I don't know. It seemed like it was a dumb argument that can be easily gotten over. And we'll have to see if they do. But yeah, it was dumb. But they're both trying so hard to outmaneuver the other one. It's almost like they're competing against each other instead of being together. It's like she's trying to outmaneuver him and he's trying to outmaneuver her. and she's trying to show something. He's trying to show. I think they're both doing it wrong. I think he should just be himself, and she should just be more positive because she seems like she's going negative to trump him, and that's not going to work. But we have to see how it goes, man. But right now, this was dumb. I'm sure they can get past it, no problem. It's still the honeymoon. This was not a serious issue. Like Mark and Lindsay, her drinking, that's a serious issue. Her drinking and starting shit, that's serious. Chris and Alyssa, that's serious. This isn't serious. This is nothing. So moving on from them, the next couple is going to be Olajuwon and Katina. Olajuwon is childish and immature and selfish. Being immature is fine. Being childish is fine. The selfish is what's going to fuck up his marriage. You can be married and childish. You can be in a relationship and immature. That stuff happens. Selfish is not going to work. And Katina, she needs. I have a feeling that if the cameras weren't around, Katina she would be doing more to combat him than she is. Their thing starts out with going to work out, and when they're working out, she was like, "This is something that she does, but it's what Olajuwon does." So, how do I put this? He's doing too fucking much. He has her doing these incredible exercises. He's like yelling at her and pushing her. This ain't playing off. This is what I do. This for real. You gonna take it serious. And she is visibly uncomfortable, not enjoying herself, and doesn't want to do this shit. So it went from a fun activity to something that was uncomfortable and unpleasant to watch. And I think she said that, she wanted to cuss his ass out. She did. And later on, he says that, well, he did all that. I mean, I'm not conveying what he did accurately. I know I'm not. He went. I wouldn't let a personal trainer talk to me that way, let alone just some random motherfucker. He was literally just fussing at her, screaming at her, yelling at her. Now, she's never done any of this before. She doesn't work out. She doesn't do this. And he had the hardest, most difficult exercises you could do. And he was telling her, "You better get it right. You better do it right. You better do this." And she is visibly uncomfortable and doesn't like it. But he's still pushing it and egging it on. And she damn near came up out herself. But she held it back. I forgot what she said in her confessional about it, which I remember because it was actually very important. I can't remember it. I'm sorry. But later on, Olajuwon says that he did it on purpose. Because she did speak up and say, like, I don't want to do this shit. I can't remember what she said. But he wanted to see how much would she take. Would she stand up for herself? Would she defend herself? Here's the thing. She shouldn't have to defend herself against her own husband. Her husband shouldn't be the one coming at her. Her husband should be the one trying to push her buttons. So that was a dumb thought process. You shouldn't do that to any fucking body, let alone your wife. It was just childish. It was stupid. And she should have divorced. If she knew that, she should have divorced his dad right then. You doing this dumb shit just to see what you gonna get out of me? It was fucking dumb. It was stupid. It really was. Later on, they're getting ready to go on the boat ride with the other couples. And Olajuwon is like, he don't give a fuck about Lindsay. He said, I'm done. I told Mark I didn't need an apology. She sent me a text or email with this thing saying she's apologizing. She felt so bad. He was like, whatever, I don't care. I'm finna go and do my thing. I'm finna enjoy my trip and get to know my wife. I don't give a fuck what Lindsay's got going on. Katina says that she don't feel that way. Fuck Lindsay. She's like, I don't want her to talk to me. I don't want anything to do with her. And Katina is like not feeling Lindsay at all. So they get on the boat, and Lindsay is going on. She says, "Oh, she's sorry for all that. Just the whole thing triggered her. Something happened when she was 5 years old, and all that." And Katina was like, "I don't give a fuck." Katina went off on her and was just telling her like, "You did this. Stop acting like you a victim when you was the one that started it all. Okay, this is all your fault. If you feel triggered, you triggered you. You got drunk, you acted a fool, and made an ass of yourself. And when shit went crazy and you didn't like it, then you want to say, oh, you being victimized. That's not what happened." She was telling Lindsay, like, you need to recognize your role in the entire incident. But Lindsay doesn't want to do that. And Katina was just done. Was like, fuck her. Later on the boat, they're playing Never Have I Ever. And they're asking just regular simple questions, but Elijah Wan starts just getting antsy. He's like, "Oh, y'all didn't answer the question." And then Katina's like, "Okay, what questions? What do you have to say?" And he's like, "Never have I ever. Have you had a threesome?" And everybody was like, "No." He's like, "I had a threesome." And he was just embarrassing Katina. He was just embarrassing her because he was like, "Oh, never have you ever had sex with people in the same family?" And everybody was like, "No." He was like, "Well, I had sex with a mother and a daughter." So he's just sitting on, he's using this game as an excuse to brag on his sexual escapades, about how he slept with a mother and a daughter the same day, one after the other, how he was having threesomes and doing all this stuff. He was using, and he wasn't even, he started playing the game basically and just started telling people what he was doing sexually out there. And then when the question of a threesome came up, he was like, well, if your spouse wants to have a threesome, what would you say? And everybody was like, well, no, I don't want to do a threesome. He was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And Katina was like, what? He was like, if you bring it up, hell yeah, I'm doing it. And he was like, well, why wouldn't I do it? And you could see Katina was visibly embarrassed. Even if it's true, don't admit that shit. He should know that. But he was being childish and self. He wasn't thinking about it. He was not thinking about her. He was thinking about cool points for himself. He wanted to brag on himself. All of his line of questioning and statements were all about how good he is at having sex with all these people. And it was just crazy. It really was. And he was like, oh, he doesn't cheat because he's never in a relationship with people. He's just sleeping around. That's all he does. It was just embarrassing. It really was. And later on, he talking to Katina, asked him about that. Like, why was you doing all this, saying all that? He was like, I have a past. He keeps bringing up he has a past, but he's not bringing it up out of shame. He brings it up out of pride. He is very proud of what Isaac did. You know, he loves talking about it. All the stuff he's done sexually with all these people, how he was getting down, what he was doing. Most people look back on their past and put their head down like, oh man, I can't believe I did that. He looked back and he is so happy and glad. He wants everybody to know all he did. Like he went to the fucking moon or something. But he tells her, like, that's over. You don't have to worry about it. I got one ring, I got one wife. Them days is behind me. I don't want that no more. And he seems very sincere and genuine. But then, like, you'll see a moment, he does that a lot. He was seem very genuine and serious and sincere. And then the next scene, he seems like he is just full of shit. So my heart goes out to Katina because I think she is just as confused as everybody else. Is he serious or is he playing? This is what I think. He playing. This is just a thing he's doing. He's just trying out. But he keeps saying it's just something he's doing right now. He says it all the time. But I don't think nobody's really applying too much to that. But I think it's true. He's going to do this. He's going to get bored and he's going to move on to something else. He just seems like that kind of person that just gets, once he's bored, he's done with it. So right now he's trying to hard because they have not had sex. She's adamant they haven't slept together. And she even said at the beginning of this, about cuddling. She said that, he's a bad cuddler, but I was wrong. She said that when they're in the bed, he doesn't even touch her. The reason he's a bad cuddler is because she said he sweats too much. She said he's like soaking the bed. She's like, and she doesn't want him on her or around, like up under her. She doesn't want to be up under him, and he's so sweaty because she's like, you sweat a lot. At the end, he has rose petals all over the floor, all over the bed with the O and the K in it. And he's crying, telling her how much she means to him, how he's so happy he married her and all that. And she's crying. She's so happy that they're together and all this stuff. She has feelings for him. And, she said that she wishes the other girls could feel this way, that she feels how happy she is to be with him. And that, he does stuff for her that no one's ever done before. He took her on this trip. He's treated her right. And I was like, he didn't pay for this trip. He has officially took you nowhere. He didn't do them rose petals. Somebody else did that. All of these things that you're doing together with him, he didn't do any of this shit. He didn't fly out here. He didn't book this hotel. He didn't arrange the rose petals. He didn't arrange the boat trip. He didn't do any of this. You will fall in love with this man for shit he ain't done. Shit. And I'm telling you, once he has sex with her, once he's like, I'm done with that, it's going to completely change. He's so sweet and genuine now because he has not got the draws. Once he gets the draws, I have a feeling that he is going to completely be different. He's going to completely just be like, you know what, this ain't as cool as I thought it was. I want to do something else. Because he is obviously selfish. He really only thinks about him, what you can do for him, how you can help him. He is not looking out to help her at all. He hasn't taken her into consideration for anything. He said he don't give a fuck about Lindsay. But she says she does. He did not care that she doesn't want to be around Lindsay. That was the thing that stuck out to me, was how separate they were. He was like, well, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And she just had to accommodate him. Even though he did not want, she does not want anything to do with Lindsay. He's like, I'm going to just do me anyway. He didn't take her into consideration at all about that. Not about the workout. Not about the damn game. Nothing. He is thinking about him, how he looks, and what he can get, and what he can do, and what you can do for him. Because he said he was happy that Katina stood up for him with Lindsay. That's all he cared about. All he cares about is what you're doing for me. That's going to fly for so long until it don't fly no goddamn more. Our next couple is Chris and Alyssa. What's the point? What's going on here? They done. It's over with. It's finished. Just tell them to go home. Nobody wants to see this anymore. I feel so bad for Chris. And Alyssa is making me hate her fucking guts. Alyssa wakes up saying, wondering what woe is me, basically. Like, why did this happen to me? What did they do to me? I can't believe it's turned out like this. First of all, nothing's happened to her. Nobody's done anything to her. She has not even spent any time with Chris to know him from Adam. He hasn't had a chance to do anything to her. There's been no opportunities for him to wrong her in any way. Now, she's treated him like shit at every chance she gets. So her sitting in her hotel room, going, oh my God, why me? Why me? Is just ridiculous. And Chris is in his room just fucking befuddled and confused. Like, what is happening? What's going on? What did I do? And he's done nothing. Nothing at all. He hasn't had a chance to do anything. They go paddleboarding together. So Chris wants to go paddleboarding. So he arranges for them to go paddleboarding. Alyssa shows up. She's like, you want to go? She's like, yeah. She's paddleboarded before. She loves paddleboarding. And Chris said, I've never done it before. But, I want to try. I'm with Chris like, hey, I want to try stuff while I'm here. They go paddleboarding, and Chris is just falling constantly. Alyssa got it. She got it made. You know what? Because she's so fucking ugly to Chris, I'm gonna be fucking ugly to her. Alyssa is the definition of a bad built ass woman. And it's bad built because it's surgical. How you surgically put together and it's fucked up. She got this fucking pot belly. She got this Botox face that's like a permanent Cabbage Patch doll. And she got this fucking butt. I've never seen a butt lift that's flat as a fucking pancake. It's like they just made it wide with a tuck, but that bitch straight up and down. It's like this is a botch. She she is on this paddleboard looking terrible. Cause I've never paid her any attention. Once you see her, you can see all the surgery she's had to her face and body. Cause she's in a bathing suit. And you're like, you got fucked up. You need to get a goddamn refund. None of your shit came out right. Anyway, after the paddleboarding, she's having a great time because Chris is falling, Chris is failing, and she's laughing at him. She's not laughing with him; she's laughing at him, at his struggle. He goes along with him because he's glad to see her happy. And she says, no, after paddleboarding, what do? I don't know. Later on, Chris wants to go scuba diving, and this is like she doesn't want to go scuba diving. She's like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna stay up here on the beach and do this. And that's what she did before. They got done paddleboarding. She went sat down, and Chris came and sat down. Oh, this is what you want to do? She was like, yeah. He's like, well, I'm gonna do this with you then. And you could see that pissed her off. That she was like, I wish he didn't sit with me. But then when he said scuba diving, she was like, yeah, go scuba diving. Go do that. I don't want to do that with you. And so Chris is like, all right, it's not scuba, it's snooba, it's snorkeling scuba. Where they put the big thing over their head and they can only go so deep, and it's like snorkel scuba thing. And she's like, oh, I don't want to do that. So, but then she says something that pisses me off. She said this is her first time seeing him with his shirt off because he has to take his shirt off to go in the water. He didn't do that when they were paddleboarding. He did it now because of the scuba thing. And she's like, physically, he's not my type. I don't like his body physically. And the production is fucked up too because they're zooming in on his stomach, on his man boobs. They're looking for the flaws in his body and his physique. He's not a very muscly guy, in shape, toned up guy, but he's not some 600-pound man either. But it pissed me off because I'm looking at Alyssa like, how fucking dare you? Looking like a shaved sloth. Comment on anybody else's appearance. You goddamn plastic surgery fuck up. She looks terrible. Because when she was dressed before everything else, you couldn't see really how bad physically she is. You just saw the face and it was how the permanently stuck Botox face. And you're like, that ain't good, but okay. Then you see her in her swimming clothes and you're like, oh, your whole body like that. Just surgically fucked up. Talking about this, man. And she goes into the, what is that, like the restaurant, the bar area, whatever. And she's talking to the producers and she breaks down, upset, crying. Like, why did this happen to me? What does this do? I just don't understand how this could have happened. And, oh no, hold on for that. Earlier, when they were sitting around talking, she's like, this isn't really what she wanted. And he was like, because she went to see a fortune teller, a psychic. And the psychic, Chris isn't what the psychic told her he would be. Tall, handsome, tan, big shoulders, muscly, with a tattoo. And he's like, what type of tattoo? She said, a eagle tattoo. And Chris just starts laughing. Like, it's the most ridiculous shit anybody's ever heard. You went to a psychic, and they describe some perfect generic ass man, and that's what you were expecting with an eagle tattoo. I wish Chris had a fucking eagle tattoo, but he didn't. Anyway, she's having a full on meltdown because she doesn't understand why this happened to her. Of keep in mind, nothing's happened to her. She's like, I don't want to be around him. I don't want him near me. She said she didn't mind paddleboarding because they were separate, but she didn't want to go scuba diving because they'd be too close together, and she doesn't want to be in the water with him at the same time. What? You don't want to be in the ocean? The ocean is too small an area? The fucking Atlantic is too constricting? You gotta be in one ocean, he gotta be in the other, and then you'll be comfortable? What is this bullshit? Just stupid. And she's upset because her mom is telling her she's being an ass. She's being disrespectful. She's like, well, mom doesn't get it. No, everybody gets it. You are rude. No, according to her, she's the nicest person ever. She's nice to everybody. She hasn't been nice to Chris this whole time. She's been nice to no one, literally. Chris gets done scuba diving. He looks around like, where'd Alyssa go? So he comes to find her. She's up in the bar area, and she tells the producer, stop him. I don't want him near me. I don't want him anywhere around me. And the producer goes over and stops Chris and tells him, like, and she tells him, like, she doesn't want you around, she doesn't want you near her. And Chris is just standing there with this look on his face like, what the fuck did I do? He's done nothing to her. He's not had a chance to do anything. She can insist all she wants that she's the nicest person ever. She's not even close to a decent fucking human being. If she had some specific thing, and I'm cursing a lot because I feel bad for Chris. Looking at him standing there, just in the lounge, like, what happened? Because he's done nothing. That man was swimming. He was in the water scubaing. And he gets out, and suddenly it's people like, oh no, she doesn't want you around. And he's like, what the fuck happened? She's over here crying, upset, broke down for no reason. Because a psychic lied to her? A psychic gave her a bullshit description of a nobody person? And she invested all her hopes and dreams into that? You are an idiot. And you are a shitty human being. That's it for them. That's it for the whole thing. Those are my thoughts. I'm upset and frustrated now. What are yours? Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button, hit that bell, and comment down below if you got anything you want to say. I'm just heated right now. I done got heated talking about it. So I'm going to go chill. I'm going to go calm down. And I'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.